You ever wake up with that strange feeling in your chest that the world moved while you were asleep, that something changed, something shifted, but no one bothered to tell you? Everyone else seems to know. Their eyes carry that little spark of knowledge, that hidden smirk, that quiet silence that says more than words ever could. But you're left standing in the middle of it all, trying to piece together what you missed. Funny thing about nights like that, they hide truth behind shadows. And when the sun comes up, the lies wear daylight like a mask. You ever notice how quiet it gets right before something goes wrong? That kind of silence that isn't peace, it's pressure. The kind that sits heavy in your chest and makes you question whether the world just took a deep breath and decided to stop playing fair. That's the thing about truth. It doesn't shout. It doesn't warn. It doesn't ask for permission. It hides. It waits. It lingers behind a smile, behind a word, behind a moment so ordinary you almost forget to look twice. But that's where it is, right there, in the silence before everything changes. People think truth is supposed to feel good, like a warm light breaking through darkness. But it doesn't. It stings. It burns. It crawls under your skin until you can't ignore it anymore. The silence before the truth hits is worse than the truth itself, because deep down you already know something's coming. You can feel it. The air feels too still, the people around you seem too careful, and your thoughts start looping like a broken record. That's how truth plays with you. It lets you walk straight into its trap without saying a word. See, most people don't listen to silence. They fill it with noise, distractions, chatter, anything to keep from hearing what it's really saying. But silence is honest. It doesn't flatter you. It doesn't lie to make you comfortable. It tells you everything you're too afraid to admit. And when it shows up right before something happens, you'd better pay attention, because that's not silence, that's truth breathing down your neck. When people start getting quiet around you, when their tone shifts, when their eyes avoid yours for a moment too long, that's truth moving behind the curtain. It's not random. It's not paranoia. It's a signal. The world speaks in patterns, not words, and the smartest ones are those who can read the silence. Because when truth hides, it hides in plain sight. It doesn't need to announce itself. It just waits for you to notice the wrong rhythm in the room, the misplaced smile, the delayed response. It's funny, isn't it? Everyone claims they want the truth, but when silence stretches too long, they start to panic. Because silence is a mirror, it forces you to listen to your own doubts, your own suspicions, your own guilt. The truth doesn't have to come from someone else. Sometimes it's buried in your own mind, whispering from the corners, daring you to look closer. That's why so many run from it. Because silence makes you confront yourself. There's a reason why the truth waits until the right moment. It doesn't show up when you're ready. It shows up when you're comfortable, when you least expect it, when you think you've got it all figured out. That's when it strikes. Because truth doesn't want to be discovered. It wants to be felt. It wants to break something inside you just enough for you to finally see. You can tell when the truth is near. The air changes. People start acting out of rhythm. Laughter sounds forced. The world feels like it's holding its breath. That's the silence before the storm. It's not empty, it's loaded. It's charged with all the things no one wants to say. All the things that are about to come crashing down. And if you listen closely, you'll hear it. The faint hum of reality rearranging itself around you. The truth, hiding, but not gone. So when that kind of silence falls, the kind that makes your stomach twist and your thoughts spiral, don't run from it. Don't try to drown it out. Watch it. Feel it. Let it crawl through you. Because that's the moment right before everything shifts. The truth always hides in silence before it strikes. It doesn't miss its mark. It just waits for you to stop pretending you can't hear it. People talk too much. That's their problem. They think words are the only way to communicate, that truth lives in sentences, in explanations, in carefully chosen tones. But no, it's the opposite. The truth is in the pauses, the stutters, the half smiles that don't reach the eyes. It's in what they don't say. You can read a person's entire story by the things they leave unsaid. Words lie. Silence doesn't. You ever notice how someone avoids a topic, how their voice trembles just before they change it? That's not coincidence, that's fear, wrapped in politeness. They won't tell you what they're hiding, but they'll dance around it, hoping you won't step on the right spot. The truth leaks out through their gestures. A blink too fast, a smile too sharp, a breath too shallow. You don't need to be told what's wrong. You can feel it. Right there between the lines they refuse to speak. See, people are masters of pretending. They'll decorate their lies with charm and confidence. Wear them like perfume until you stop smelling the rot underneath. But the body betrays them every time. Watch their hands. People who lie touch their faces too much. Their eyes look for exits instead of connection. Their posture stiffens like a child caught doing something wrong. You won't hear the truth from their lips, but you'll see it in their stillness, in the tension that fills the space where honesty should have lived. Most can't stand silence. They fill it with meaningless chatter, jokes, noise, anything to keep their truth buried a little longer. That's how guilt works. It hates quiet rooms, because in silence the truth starts whispering, and those whispers turn into screams if you sit long enough. So people distract themselves. They talk and talk and talk, not to share, but to hide. Every unnecessary word is a brick in the wall they build between you and the truth. You want to know who someone really is? Don't listen to what they tell you. Watch what they avoid. The way they flinch when a certain name comes up, the quick subject changes, the sigh that escapes before they catch it. That's where the truth lives, in the cracks. You can always sense it. That nervous energy that leaks through. Like a light flickering in a dark hallway. It's impossible to ignore once you've seen it. And the best part? People think they're clever. They believe they can control perception, that as long as they sound convincing, they're safe. But emotion doesn't take orders. No matter how much they rehearse, the truth has its own timing. It waits until they relax, until they believe they've fooled you. Then it slips out in tone, in breath, in the smallest, most innocent moment. You just have to be patient enough to see it. The trick is not to listen for the confession. That's too obvious. It's about noticing what's missing, what they didn't answer, what they couldn't say. When you ask a question and someone gives you everything except the one thing you needed, that's it. That's where the truth hides. And most people will never catch it because they're too busy reacting to the words instead of reading the silence. The world is full of noise, voices fighting to be heard, lies layered over truth, distractions built on top of distractions. But if you sit still, if you listen beyond the chaos, you start hearing something else. The trembling underneath, the hesitation, the words that should have been spoken but weren't. That's the language of honesty. It's raw. It's uncomfortable. It's the one no one wants to speak, but everyone eventually reveals without meaning to. So when someone talks to you, don't get lost in their story. Look in their eyes. Watch how they breathe when they speak. Listen for the seconds between words. Because the truth doesn't always show itself with sound. Sometimes it lives in the silence that follows, in the way they can't meet your gaze, in the pulse that quickens just before they lie. People reveal more in what they don't say than what they do. And once you start noticing it, you can never unhear it again. Every secret has a pulse. You can feel it if you're still enough, quiet enough, detached enough from the noise. It beats beneath the surface of people's smiles, beneath their words, beneath the stories they tell themselves to sleep at night. Most walk around thinking their secrets are buried. That time killed the evidence. But time doesn't bury it. Breathes. It keeps those secrets alive, pulsing, waiting for the right moment to surface. You can sense it in a room when someone's hiding something. The air feels thicker, heavier. Their energy leaks like smoke from a crack they can't seal. They try to play it cool, but their heart gives them away. Secrets are alive. They breathe through body language, through hesitation, through that faint tremor in their voice when the conversation drifts too close to the truth. You can pretend all you want, but the body remembers, the heart remembers, and it beats differently when it's protecting something. There's a strange rhythm to guilt. It doesn't shout. It hums low, constant, just below hearing range. You might not catch it right away, but once you do, you can't tune it out. It's the sound of a mind trying to convince itself that everything's fine. It's the heartbeat of denial. And when you're close enough to someone carrying a secret, you feel it, that uneven pulse in the air, that static tension they can't quite hide. People think secrets die when you stop talking about them, but they don't. They evolve. They change shape. They disguise themselves as laughter, as distraction, as strength. But deep down, they're alive, pacing in the dark corners of your thoughts, waiting for the smallest crack to escape. The truth doesn't rot, it waits. And when it's finally ready, it doesn't knock politely. It explodes. You ever look at someone and just know they're carrying something? You can't explain it, but it's there in their eyes, in the way they blink too slow or smile too fast. It's like they're trying to convince the world that they're fine, but their soul is screaming for someone to notice. That's the heartbeat I'm talking about, the one you can't silence, no matter how hard you try. Because secrets crave exposure. They want to be seen, even if it destroys everything. The longer you hold a secret, the louder it gets. It starts whispering in your quiet moments, echoing in your thoughts when no one's around. It turns into paranoia, into restlessness, into a kind of madness where you can't tell if you're protecting yourself or suffocating. And that's when it happens. The slip, the trembling hands, the cracked laugh, the nervous over-explanation. It's not weakness. It's inevitability. You can't cage something that was born to surface. And when that secret finally escapes, it doesn't walk out quietly. It drags everything with it. Every lie, every cover-up, every little compromise that built the walls around it. The heartbeat turns into a thunderclap, and the silence that follows is deafening, because that's the moment when everything becomes clear, not just to others, but to you. The moment you realize the secret was never really hidden. It was living right under your skin. Some people think they can outsmart their own conscience. They think if they stay busy, laugh louder, sleep less, they can drown out the pulse. But the truth has patience. It doesn't chase you. It waits for you to tire yourself out. It watches you spin in circles, trip over your excuses, and eventually face yourself in the mirror. Because that's where it hides, not in the world, not in the people around you, but in the reflection you avoid looking at for too long. So, the next time you feel that strange tension in the air, that unspoken heaviness around someone, stop and listen. That's not awkwardness. That's not imagination. That's a secret's heartbeat. Faint, steady, waiting. And once you recognize that sound, you start hearing it everywhere, in the pauses of conversations, in the laughter that lasts a second too long, in the eyes that flicker when the wrong question is asked. Every secret has a heartbeat waiting to be heard. It's never really gone, just waiting for someone brave enough to listen close enough. People say ignorance is bliss, but that's only true until the curtain falls. You see, ignorance isn't peace, it's the blindfold before the fire. It's pretending you're safe while the floor burns beneath your feet. Everyone loves to live in the comfort of not knowing, of convincing themselves that if they don't look, the truth won't exist. But truth doesn't care if you're looking. It just waits. It sharpens its knife in silence and smiles while you dance around pretending everything's fine. There's a strange kind of calm in ignorance. It feels warm at first, soft, easy. You don't ask questions, you don't challenge what's given to you. You just accept the illusion and call it peace. But peace built on lies doesn't last long, because truth has a cruel sense of timing. It doesn't come when you're ready. It comes when you least expect it, when you've grown too comfortable, when the fake reality feels safest. That's when it rips through everything you thought you understood. You ever see that look in someone's eyes when the truth finally hits? That moment of disbelief, confusion, anger, fear, all at once. It's like watching a soul wake up from a dream it didn't know it was in. That's the cost of ignorance. The longer you stay blind, the harder it hurts when you finally see. And that's why so many people choose not to look. They think not knowing will save them from pain. But the truth doesn't wait to be acknowledged, it collects interest. There's always a setup before revelation. The quiet days, the fake smiles, the little coincidences that don't make sense until later. Ignorance feeds on those moments. It lets you believe everything's normal so that when the truth hits, it doesn't just break you, it shatters the world you built around the lie. That's the setup before revelation, the calm before the storm disguised as peace. You can always tell when someone's hiding behind ignorance. They avoid certain words, certain questions. They laugh too quickly when the subject gets too close. They say things like, "I don't want to think about that," as if denial could protect them from reality. But the truth doesn't care about what you want to face. It's not waiting for permission. It's already moving, already rewriting the story behind your back. And when the truth finally decides to step into the light, it doesn't just show what's real, it shows what was fake. Every excuse, every lie, every moment you ignored the signs, all of it laid bare. That's the part people fear most, not the truth itself, but the reflection of who they were while they refused to see it. Because ignorance isn't just blindness, it's complicity. You helped build the illusion that destroyed you. The world's cruel like that. It lets you walk around thinking you're in control, that if you don't know, you're safe. But truth is patient. It's not chasing you. It's following quietly, step by step, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. And when it does, it won't whisper, it'll scream. It'll tear down the walls you built with your silence and force you to see what you should have seen long ago. You ever wonder why some people get hit harder by the truth than others? It's because they spent longer hiding from it. They built an entire life around avoiding that one realization, that one fact that could have set them free if only they'd faced it sooner. But they didn't. They chose comfort over clarity, illusion over awareness. And by the time the truth finally caught up, it wasn't a message, it was a punishment. That's what ignorance really is. Not peace, not protection. It's the setup, the illusion that keeps you calm before the fall. It's the smile you wear before the mirror cracks. And the cruelest part, you never know when it's going to happen. You never see it coming until it's already here, until the silence breaks and the truth walks in, and suddenly the world you thought you knew collapses under its own lies. Ignorance isn't safety. It's the stage built just before revelation takes the spotlight. The smallest details are always the loudest. It's funny how people miss that. They're too busy watching the big picture, chasing the drama, waiting for the obvious to reveal itself, and that's exactly why they never see the truth. The truth doesn't walk through the front door with a spotlight. It slips through cracks, hides in habits, disguises itself in moments so small you almost laugh when you realize what you missed. But that's where it always hides, in plain sight, buried beneath the noise you thought didn't matter. You can tell everything about someone by how they do the smallest things. The way they look at you when they think you're not watching. The way their tone changes ever so slightly when they lie. The way their eyes dart to the side when you get too close to something they'd rather keep buried. These moments are quick, like flickers of lightning gone before most people notice. But if you've learned to pay attention, really pay attention, you'll see the whole story unfold without a single word being spoken. The smallest detail can unravel everything. That one misplaced object, that one slip in a sentence, that one inconsistency in their timeline. People think lies are crafted perfectly, but they're not. They're stitched together with panic. Lies have edges that don't align, and the truth leaks out through the seams. You can see it if you're patient enough, if you let silence do the heavy lifting. The truth always trips over itself, trying to stay hidden. It's strange how the mind tries to protect what it fears. People rehearse their lies, polish their stories, make them sound so convincing that even they start to believe them. But the body betrays them. The tapping fingers, the shallow breathing, the forced calm, these are the tells. The smallest tremors that expose the storm beneath the surface. You can hear it in the rhythm of their words. You can see it in how they stand still for just a second too long. That's the moment when truth whispers through the cracks, daring you to catch it. Most people don't notice because they don't want to. They prefer comfort over clarity. They want everything to make sense, to stay simple. So they ignore the inconsistencies, brush off the red flags, pretend the signs don't mean anything. But deep down, they know. They always know. The smallest detail sticks to the back of their mind, gnawing quietly until the truth can no longer be ignored. That's the beauty of it. You can't hide from what your gut already saw. Sometimes, the smallest detail isn't even something you see. It's something you feel. The shift in energy when someone enters the room. The tension that wraps around a conversation that's trying too hard to stay casual. The laughter that sounds a little too hollow. You can't explain it logically, but it's there, that tiny signal your intuition catches before your mind can make sense of it. That's not paranoia. That's awareness. It's your inner voice whispering, something doesn't add up. You learn to trust that feeling after a while. The more you ignore it, the louder it gets. The truth doesn't need proof to exist. It just needs your attention. And when you finally decide to listen, the pieces start to fall into place. The patterns reveal themselves. Every small detail, Every minor inconsistency, every overlooked sign, they all start connecting, painting a picture that was right in front of you the entire time. People think big betrayals come with big warnings. They don't. They come with small ones, ignored messages, delayed reactions, the subtle change in how someone says your name. And by the time you realize what those signs meant, it's too late. The truth's already done its damage. That's why you learn to notice the little things, because once you start seeing them, you can't unsee them. They tell you everything you need to know long before the world decides to catch up. The smallest detail can expose the biggest betrayal. That's the secret no one wants to admit. You don't need to dig deep or demand answers. You just need to be still. Watch. Listen. People always reveal themselves not through their grand gestures or dramatic confessions, but through the little things they think no one notices. That's where the truth breathes, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the moment you finally decide to look close enough. There's something strange about silence, isn't there? People can't handle it. They start fidgeting, laughing awkwardly, saying things they don't even mean just to fill the space. But silence is where the truth hides. It's where thoughts echo loudest. It's the sound of the mask, slipping, of the heart, revealing what the mouth is too scared to admit. If you can stay quiet long enough, if you can let that uncomfortable stillness settle in, you'll start to hear what others try so hard to bury. That's when the real message starts to whisper. The world talks too much. Everyone wants to be heard. No one wants to listen. They scream for attention, perform for approval, drown in noise, and call it connection. But underneath all that chaos, something else is speaking, not through words, but through moments, through patterns, through events that seem too perfectly timed to be coincidence. You can call it intuition, destiny, energy. But deep down, you know what it really is. Something's trying to get your attention, something bigger than you. The funny thing is, it never shouts. It never forces its way through. It just places little signs along your path, a conversation you overhear at the right time, a number that keeps showing up, a message that hits you harder than it should. Most people shrug it off. They think it's random. But that's the trick, isn't it? The extraordinary always hides behind the ordinary. The impossible dresses up as coincidence, hoping you're paying enough attention to notice. You ever wonder why things start repeating in your life? Why certain faces keep appearing? Certain feelings won't go away. Certain dreams won't let you rest. That's not chance. That's communication. Every repetition is a tap on your shoulder, a quiet reminder that you've seen this before for a reason. You're being nudged, guided, redirected, not by logic, but by something unseen. But you'll never notice it if you're too busy running from silence, too addicted to distraction, too afraid to face what the quiet is trying to tell you. When strange things start lining up, when the impossible starts feeling a little too real, most people panic. They call it luck, fate, madness, anything but what it truly is, because the truth terrifies them. The idea that something, someone, might actually be watching, guiding, shaping moments to wake you up. It's too much for the human mind. It wants control. It wants reasons. But this doesn't fit into reason. It's too precise, too personal, too divine to be denied. The signs don't come with explanations. They come with decisions. You either see them or you don't. You either trust the timing or you fight it. That's the cruel beauty of it. You get to choose whether to believe. But belief has consequences. Once you admit that something bigger is speaking to you, you can't pretend life is random anymore. You start realizing every heartbreak had a purpose, every delay was protection, every loss was a redirection. You start to see the pattern, not chaos, but choreography. And maybe that's what the message really is, that all those things you thought were falling apart were actually falling into place, that the doors that slammed shut were never meant for you, and the ones that opened unexpectedly, those were the ones written with your name long before you even asked. It's almost poetic, how the universe rearranges itself in silence while you're too busy shouting for answers. You don't even realize the pieces are moving until they've already formed the picture you were meant to see. People say they want a sign, but when it shows up, they question it. They pray for direction, then ignore the road when it lights up in front of them. Because believing means surrendering, and surrendering means losing control. But control is the illusion that keeps them blind. The moment you stop trying to force things, that's when everything starts aligning. It's almost like life rewards the ones who trust without proof, who listen when no one else can hear, who feel the pull and dare to follow it anyway. You don't need to understand how it all works. You just need to recognize when something inside you shifts, when your gut tightens, when your heart beats faster for no reason, when you suddenly know something without being told. That's the message. That's the connection. It doesn't speak through logic, it speaks through resonance. It doesn't ask for evidence, it asks for awareness. The signs were never hiding. They were waiting for you to open your eyes. And once you do, you realize the silence was never empty. It was full of meaning, full of direction, full of truth, waiting patiently for you to finally listen.